How's it going, YouTube? Back at it again with another video. Trying out something a little different with recaps of each week. And for this video, we've got week 7 of the NFL. So let's get into the video. Starting us off with the Denver Broncos beating the New Orleans Saints 33-10. This game really boiled down to the Denver Broncos running the ball efficiently for 225 yards, while their defense held the Saints to only 3 points for the first 3 quarters. A good rushing attack plus a good defense got them the win. Then we got the Jacksonville Jaguars beating the New England Patriots 32-16. Key takeaways for this game is that Drake May actually looked pretty good, but the Patriots couldn't run on the Jacksonville defense. However, the Jaguars were able to run for over 170 yards and 1 time of possession by 7 minutes. This paired with some explosive plays, including a 97-yard punt return for a touchdown, won the Jaguars this game. Then we had a really good matchup with the Detroit Lions winning 31-29 over the Minnesota Vikings. Key takeaway for this game is the Lions defense obviously isn't that good without Aiden Hutchinson, but their offense seems almost unstoppable right now. Jared Goff had only 3 incompletions and threw for 2 touchdowns, plus Gibbs ran for 116 yards and 2 touchdowns. And this game came down to a game-winning field goal in which the Lions made. Then we got the Buffalo Bills beating the Tennessee Titans 34-10. Really, there wasn't much to be said about the Titans in this game, other than they were leading at half, but were unable to keep the Bills' offense down in the second half, in which Josh Allen threw for over 300 yards and 2 touchdowns, including one to the newly acquired Amari Cooper, as well as the rookie Keon Coleman getting 125 receiving yards. With that, Buffalo was able to score 27 points in the second half and win this game. Then we got the Indianapolis Colts winning 16-10 over the Miami Dolphins in a very boring game. The Dolphins had Tim Boyle and Tyler Huntley both play quarterback for him this game, in which they combined for about 160 passing yards, while Anthony Richardson only threw for 129 passing yards. The key to their win was honestly probably their kicker. Then we got the Seattle Seahawks winning 34-14 over the Atlanta Falcons. This was the first surprise of the day, as the Falcons won about every stat you could in the game. But key penalties, 2 interceptions thrown, and a fumble lost were the reason that they lost this game, as Seattle kept their game clean and won. Then we got another really good morning game with the Packers beating the Texans 24-22. In my predictions, I said Jordan Love is really good, but does tend to turn the ball over, which he did twice in this game. However, they were able to overcome that, with Jordan Love also throwing 3 touchdowns, and the Packers defense locking down CJ Stroud. Stroud went 10 of 21 for 86 passing yards and no touchdowns. The Packers defense really did their part to win them this game, including their new kicker hitting a game-winning field goal in the last seconds of the game, giving the Packers the win. Then we had the Cincinnati Bengals winning 21-14 over the Cleveland Browns. Really, the key takeaways for this game was the fact that even though the Browns' offense hasn't been good, losing Amari Cooper also hurt them. And speaking of hurt, Deshaun Watson is now out for the season with an Achilles injury. The Bengals won basically because their offense stayed clean while their defense did enough to win. Then we got the Philadelphia Eagles winning 28-3 over the New York Giants. This game can honestly really easily be summed up as the Philadelphia Eagles just ran the ball at will. Saquon Barkley had 176 yards on 17 carries, including a touchdown, and their defense held the Giants to 3 points, in which they also held Daniel Jones to under 100 passing yards, and held the Giants to only about 75 rushing yards. Their rushing attack and defense won them this game. Then we got the LA Rams beating the Las Vegas Raiders 20-15. Honestly, the key takeaway for this game was the Raiders honestly outplayed the Rams, which I didn't expect, but they had 4 turnovers with Gardner Minshew throwing 3 interceptions and having a fumble lost. Because of that, the Rams just ran the ball, scoring 2 touchdowns on the ground and doing enough to win the game. Then we got the quickest recap in the Commanders beating the Panthers 40-7, in which, even though Jaden Daniels got injured, Marcus Mariota led that offense and dominated the Panthers. This was just two different classes of teams in which the Commanders are just way better and won. Then we had a bit of an ugly game with the Kansas City Chiefs beating the 49ers 28-18. Key takeaways for this game is the fact that Patrick Mahomes threw 2 interceptions with no touchdowns, and Brock Purdy threw 3 interceptions with no touchdowns. Like, don't get me wrong, the Super Bowl wasn't like a total shootout, but this was far from what we saw in the Super Bowl. The Chiefs honestly won this game because of winning the turnover battle and having 10 minutes more time possession and having 184 rushing yards, with all 4 of their touchdowns being rushing touchdowns. Up next, we have the Pittsburgh Steelers winning 37-15 over the New York Jets. Honestly, in the first quarter and a half of this game, this Jets team looked like it was just going to blow away the Steelers. But then key adjustments made by the Steelers coaching staff were able to get them back in this game and not only shut down the Jets in the second half, but scoring 24 points in the second half on offense. Obviously, 2 interceptions played a big part in the turnaround in this game, in which one wasn't really Aaron Rodgers' fault, as Garrett Wilson tried to catch it and it popped back up in the air and was intercepted. But even going into the fourth quarter, Jets were only down 1 score. Based on adjustments, they just seemed like the Jets were completely outcoached in this game, and Aaron Rodgers just doesn't seem like he's the answer anymore. Steelers' expert coaching won them this game. Then we had the Baltimore Ravens winning 41-31 against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Tampa Bay is starting off hot, winning the first quarter 10-0, but Lamar Jackson ended up going for 281 yards and 5 touchdowns, while Derrick Henry dominated on the ground with going 15 carries for 169 yards. This unstoppable offense, along with a couple interceptions over Baker Mayfield, sealed this game for the Ravens. Lastly, we got the Arizona Cardinals winning 17-15 over the LA Chargers. In my predictions, I said whoever established the run game would win, and that's kind of what happened, with the Cardinals going for 181 rushing yards, while the Chargers only had 59 yards. The Chargers honestly played a pretty good game, with Justin Herbert going 349 yards of passing, but key turnovers including 2 fumbles, as well as the Cardinals defense being in a bend but don't break, in which they gave up 5 field goals but no touchdowns, really sealed the win for the Cardinals in this game. Figured I'd try something a little different, but please let me know what you guys think of the video in the comments below and if you'd like to see more. Other than that, I'd really appreciate a like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.